My dear friend, let's walk together through a journey of healing, divine truth, and unshakable worth. One that will lift your spirit, mend your heart, and anchor you in the certainty that you are seen and valued by God. I want to talk about those moments when you feel constantly overlooked, like you're standing in a room full of people, but no one seems to notice you. Maybe it's friends who don't see your quiet sacrifices, coworkers who pass over your ideas, or opportunities that slip by without a glance your way. The pain of being ignored stings deep, doesn't it? It can make you wonder if you're invisible, if your worth is somehow less than others. But let me tell you something right now. You are not overlooked by the one who matters most. You feel ignored because human eyes are often too limited to see the brilliance God has woven into your soul. But God sees every heartbeat, every effort, and He's preparing you to shine in a way that no one can ignore. I'm going to unpack why this happens, lean on the wisdom of Dr. Myles Munroe about your God-given value, and show you how to live so brightly that you embrace your worth and step into the places where you're truly celebrated. Imagine this for a moment. You're not the first to feel unseen. Think of Joseph, a young dreamer betrayed by his own brothers, tossed aside like he didn't matter. They overlooked his potential, but God saw him, lifting him from a prison to a palace to lead a nation. Or picture Ruth, a widow in a foreign land, ignored by those who couldn't see her worth, yet God saw her loyalty and made her part of the lineage of Christ. Even Jesus, dismissed as a carpenter's son by the crowds, was overlooked by those who couldn't grasp his divinity. But God saw him as the Savior of the world. Dr. Myles Munroe taught us that every person carries a divine purpose, a unique light that the world might miss, but God never does. When you're overlooked, it's not because you're lacking. It's because human vision often fails to catch what God has destined to shine. Your season of being unseen is not a punishment. It's God's preparation, shaping you for a purpose that will leave a mark no one can ignore. Let's talk about why this keeps happening, why you feel like you're always on the outside looking in. Sometimes people overlook you because they're chasing what's loud or flashy, drawn to the bold voices or the quick wins, missing the quiet strength you bring. Maybe they're caught up in their own world, too distracted by their struggles or ambitions to notice your gifts. Or perhaps it's because you don't shout about your worth. You carry yourself with humility, and some mistake that for being ordinary. It could even be the environment you're in, a place where competition or bias blinds others to your value. But here's the deeper truth. Sometimes God allows you to be overlooked to protect you, to keep you from paths that aren't yours, to refine your heart for the moment He's ready to unveil you. Dr. Munroe used to say that your purpose is like a seed buried in the dark, unseen for a season, but growing strong until it breaks through. That's you right now, growing in God's hands, even when the world doesn't see it. I know the pain of being overlooked cuts deep. It can make you feel like you're not enough, like you have to work harder, be louder, or change who you are just to be noticed. Maybe you're wrestling with self-doubt, wondering if you'll ever matter, or you're tempted to prove yourself, to chase approval from those who don't see you. I've been there, my friend, and I know it hurts. But let me speak to your heart. Don't let their blindness steal your light. Their failure to see you doesn't define your worth. You're not invisible. You're a treasure crafted by God with a purpose that no one else can fulfill. Psalm 139:14 says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That's you, seen, known, and loved by the Creator of the universe. When you feel overlooked, it's not the end of your story. It's God writing a chapter of preparation, readying you for a place where your light will shine so brightly no one can miss it. Let me share a story to bring this home. I once knew a young man who felt overlooked in his church community. He served faithfully, organizing events, praying for others, but the leaders never seemed to notice. Others got the praise, the roles, the spotlight, while he felt like he was fading into the background. The pain was real. He started to think his efforts didn't matter, but he turned to God, pouring out his hurt, asking for clarity. In prayer, he felt God whisper, I see you, and your heart is enough. He decided to trust that, focusing on his purpose instead of chasing recognition. He started a small Bible study for youth, pouring his heart into it. That group grew, lives were changed, and soon the same leaders who overlooked him were asking for his help. But by then, he was already shining where God placed him, surrounded by people who saw his worth. He was overlooked not because he was less, but because God was saving him for a purpose that fit his heart. The pain taught him to lean on God's vision, not man's approval. That's the power I want you to grab hold of today. You're overlooked because the world's eyes aren't always tuned to God's frequency, but your worth is anchored in His love, and He's guiding you to where you'll be seen and cherished. Their oversight isn't a stop sign, it's a detour, leading you to the path God has carved out for you. Dr. Munroe taught that your value doesn't come from who notices you, but from the one who created you. When you stop chasing their approval and start walking in God's purpose, you become a force, a light that draws the right people, the right opportunities to you. They might see you later, maybe even regret not noticing sooner, but you'll be too busy thriving in the place God's prepared your life, a testament to His faithfulness. If you're carrying the weight of being overlooked, replaying those moments when you felt invisible, I need you to hear this. Release that burden. You're not defined by who ignores you. You're defined by the God who knit you together, who calls you by name, who has a plan for you. Don't let their blindness dim your shine. Maybe you're telling yourself, I'm always going to be ignored, or I need to be someone else to be seen. My friend, that's a lie. You are enough just as you are. God's got a place where your gifts, your heart, your unique light will be celebrated, but you've got to let go of the hurt to step into it. Isaiah 60:22 says, at the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Trust that God's timing is perfect and He's working even now to lift you up. So how do you move forward? First, root yourself in God's vision of you. Stop measuring your worth by who sees you and start seeing yourself through God's eyes. Spend time in His Word, letting verses like Psalm 34:15 fill you up. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous. Tell yourself every day, God sees me. My purpose is real. I'm destined for His glory. When you're anchored in His truth, their oversight loses its grip and you start to shine with a confidence that comes from knowing you're loved by the King. Next, surrender their blindness to God. Don't waste your energy trying to make them see you. Take that pain to God in prayer. Say, Lord, I give you every moment I felt invisible. Show me where my light belongs. Write down those hurts if you need to, or talk to a friend who gets it. Let it go, trusting that God sees every tear and is guiding you to people and places that will cherish you. Dr. Munroe used to say, don't fight to be seen where you're not assigned. God's got a space where your worth will be obvious, and letting go of their oversight frees you to find it. Then embrace your unique light. You're overlooked because your gifts don't always fit the world's mold, but that's what makes you powerful. Maybe you're the listener who holds space for others, the thinker who sees solutions no one else does, or the heart that loves deeply. Celebrate that. Don't hide it. Start sharing your gifts, even in small ways. Write that idea down. Volunteer your talent. Speak up in that meeting. Dr. Munroe taught that your purpose is tied to what makes you different. When you lean into who God made you to be, you attract the people who are meant to see you, and your light becomes impossible to ignore. Let me speak to those of you who are scared to shine because you're afraid of being overlooked again. I get it. The idea of putting yourself out there only to be ignored feels like too much. But listen, you can't live God's purpose by staying small, shining, loving, chasing your dreams. It's risky, sure, but it's also where God meets you. Don't let fear keep you from the life He's calling you to. Trust that God is your advocate, that He's preparing places where you'll be seen, that your worth is secure in Him. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Your light isn't just for you, it's for the world. And God will make sure it lands where it's meant to. Let me share another story to make this clear. I once met a woman who felt overlooked in her family. Her siblings were the loud ones, always getting the attention, while her quiet care, cooking meals, checking in, went unnoticed. She felt like she was fading away, her worth tied to their approval. But she brought that pain to God, asking Him to show her who she was. In time, she started teaching art to kids in her neighborhood, pouring her heart into it. Those kids saw her, loved her, and her classes grew. Her family eventually noticed her joy, but she was already shining where she was valued. She was overlooked, not because she was less, but because God was saving her for a purpose that matched her heart. The pain pushed her to trust God's vision, and it changed everything. So I want to ask you, what's the pain of being overlooked holding you back from? What dream are you afraid to chase because you think no one will notice? What purpose are you pausing because you're waiting for their approval? My friend, you don't need their eyes to shine. You need God's purpose. You need your faith, your courage, your trust in the one who never overlooks you. Their blindness hurts, but it can't stop you unless you let it. Get up, shake off the hurt, and start walking in the destiny God's laid out for you. The world needs your light, and no one's oversight can dim what God God's designed. Now let's talk about living so vibrantly that being overlooked becomes just a footnote in your story. Not to show them up, but to honor God's purpose in you. Live for His glory, not their applause. When you're ignored, it's easy to chase their attention, but that's a dead end. Instead, use your gifts to serve God's kingdom. Share your talents, love boldly, pursue your calling with all you've got. When you live for God, your light finds the right eyes, the ones who see you as He does. Dr. Munroe said, your purpose is God's priority, not man's opinion. Let that drive you. Live with confidence, knowing God's got you. Their oversight might shake you, but trust that you're enough, that His plan is perfect, that your purpose is secure. Step out boldly, even when it feels risky. When you carry yourself with the assurance that God sees you, you start to glow in a way that draws the right people to you. That confidence isn't just for you. It's a spark that lights up others who feel unseen, showing them they're enough too. Live with purpose. Don't let their oversight pull you off track. Wake up each day asking, God, how can I shine for you today? Where do you want my light? Purpose keeps you grounded even when the hurt lingers. When you focus on what God's called you to do, you build a life that's magnetic, pulling in opportunities and relationships that celebrate you. Those who overlooked you might notice later, but you'll be too busy thriving to care. Your life shouting God's goodness. To rise above this pain, cultivate what I call God confidence. The deep knowing that your worth comes from the one who made you, not the ones who ignored you. Spend time with Him. Let His word fill you up. Psalm 23:1 says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He's guiding you, providing for you, seeing you. When you're rooted in that, no oversight can shake you. Your light becomes a beacon, drawing those who are meant to walk with you. Practice gratitude too. It's easy to dwell on the pain of being ignored, but gratitude flips the script. Thank God for your gifts, for the purpose He's unfolding, for the moments you are seen. Thank Him for the lessons, the strength, the doors He's opening. Try this each day. Write down one way God's showing you your worth. Maybe it's a kind word, a small win, or just a quiet sense of His presence. Gratitude doesn't erase the hurt, but it lifts you above it, turning oversight into a stepping stone to your destiny. Let me tell you one more story. I once knew a guy who was overlooked at his job. He was the one fixing problems behind the scenes, but the credit always went to someone else. He felt like a ghost, his worth tied to their recognition. But he took it to God, asking for eyes to see his own value. He started a side hustle, building websites for small businesses, pouring his skills into it. Those clients saw him, raved about him, and his work took off. His co-workers eventually noticed, but he was already shining where he was valued. He was overlooked because God was saving him for a purpose that fit his gifts. That pain became his launch pad, proving Dr. Munroe's words, your value isn't in who sees you, but in who God made you to be. Embrace God's timing, my friend. Being overlooked can feel like you're stuck, but every moment is God preparing you. He's sharpening your gifts, building your faith, setting the stage for your purpose. Trust that He's not late. Your job is to keep growing, keep serving, keep shining, even in the quiet moments, and celebrate your worth. Don't wait for their applause. Your kindness, your ideas, your heart, they're all part of the light God gave you. Share it boldly, knowing it's enough. You are not defined by those who overlook you. You are defined by the God who sees you, loves you, and calls you to a purpose that's yours alone. You are radiant, irreplaceable, a vessel of divine destiny. Being overlooked is just a season, a lesson, a nudge to shine brighter. Root yourself in God's vision. Let go of their blindness. Embrace your light. Live for His glory with confidence and purpose. Lean into His confidence. Stay grateful. Trust His timing. Celebrate who you are. Do this, and you'll live a life so vibrant that being overlooked fades into the brilliance of your purpose, glorifying God and inspiring others to trust Him too. Go out there, my friend, shine like you were made to. Chase your purpose with every ounce of faith you've got. Let being overlooked be the spark that lights your greatest chapter. The world's waiting for your light, and no one's oversight can stop God's plan. You've got this, and I'm cheering you every step of the way.